Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to visit the Sequoia Park Zoo, which is the oldest zoo in California and was established in 1907. Here is the admission, and as you see these prices, keep in mind that if you're a resident of Humboldt County, you get $10 off. These are the Chilean flamingos. They're a beautiful creature, and as we watch these, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the zoo. The other main attraction at the zoo, besides the exotic critters, is what's called the Skywalk. And the Skywalk is ADA accessible, and it's a path made of wood and chain link that's attached to the huge redwoods in the area, and the user travels about 100 feet above the forest floor, and it's a really fun adventure. Kids are allowed, but you must keep them in line because it's dangerous to climb up on the guardrails. Once you have admission in the zoo, you can have unlimited access to the Skywalk. The zoo does post feeding times, so you can plan your event to watch the feeding of the critters, and we did that, and it was really fun. One of the first exhibits you're going to see when you walk in are the Chilean flamingos. They're really fun to watch. And there's a juvenile there that you can see. There's quite a number of these, so they're pretty fun to check out and how they interact. This is an African gray parrot, and one of the parrots was talking to us as we walked in. You can read about the gray parrot here. You literally walk inside the aviary, and there's a bunch of birds in there, including this scarlet ibis. And of course, there are many, many more birds that I'm not showing you. Next up are the bush dogs, and they're from South America, and they're pretty cool, strange animals, and they have a really nice exhibit there where you can watch them. And they come out and hide the food, and the bush dogs come out and look for the food, and it's a pretty neat thing to watch. This is the bald eagle exhibit, and it's pretty cool. Some of the critters have some sort of injury or issue where they can't be in the wild. Next up is this northern spotted owl, and that's a pretty cool creature. I think it might have a problem with one of its eyes, I'm not sure, but it's a really beautiful animal nonetheless. The bear exhibit was fun to check out. There are two younger bears. They're not fully grown, so they're pretty playful, and it was fun to watch them do their thing. They say if you don't see the bears in their enclosure, you should look up high in the trees, because sometimes they climb way up there. And then they like to spar and kind of playfully fight with each other. One of them has a skin issue on its hind area, so he doesn't look as healthy as you might otherwise think. But they're both in pretty good shape and seeming to have a pretty good time. It's quite a large enclosure, so they get to roam around quite a bit. When they feed them, they tend to hide the food, and you can see this kind of red ball looking thing with holes on the side. And this forces the bear to kind of play with it and try to get the food out. And of course they do that successfully because they're pretty smart, but it just makes it a little bit more realistic, like foraging in the real world. Next up is the Indian muncha. It's a kind of a strange critter, and it's got these kind of odd teeth. And you can learn a little bit more about them if you read the plaque that I'm about to show you. This is the Chicoan peccary. It's a very curious creature, and we were fortunate enough to be there when they were being fed by the zookeeper, so I'll let her tell us a little bit more about them.
So these are our 5 male Chicoan peccaries, and even though, while they're chewing, this will give you a good chance to see that even though they look like a pig, they sound like a pig, they even act like a pig, but surprisingly, peccaries are unique enough to be in their own family. So they're not in the pig family. Instead, peccaries are just peccaries, and these guys are the largest and most endangered of the 3 living types of peccaries. So we're really happy and fortunate to have them here as part of our zoo, as part of a conservation program. But I mentioned the chewing portion as I toss some vegetables around, and you'll see this is one of their favorite meals of the day, but not their only meal of the day. But as they're chewing, they gives you a chance to see that these guys have tusks, but they go straight up and down. Whereas pig species like Pumbaa the warthog or Frankie our cooney pig in the barnyard, their tusks go up and out, so they're always going to be visible. So that's one of the anatomical or bodily differences between a pig species and a peccary species. That's one of the other differences is geographically, peccary species are New World, whereas pig species are Old World, meaning like Africa and stuff like that. So there are some anatomical and genetic differences that basically separate them. So pigs, you might say, are their cousin, but really I kind of think of it as like cousin removed. And then same with hippos, and then peccaries are unique enough just to be in their own family with other peccaries. And there are the Chicoan, these guys are the largest and most endangered. Then there's the javelina or collared peccary, and those guys we're often a little bit more familiar with because they creep up into parts of southern of the United States. So they're like roaming around New Mexico and Texas and stuff like that.
This is called the greater rhea, and these guys are in with the peccaries, and they seem to get along just fine. Here you see a little map of the zoo if you want to see where everything is. And without delay, it's time to check out the Skywalk. The Skywalk is truly wonderful. It's a really great thing to check out. You can walk around high above the ground, and it's pretty cool. And here's a little map of it so you can check it out. And there are some critters up there. The Skywalk alone is reason enough to visit the zoo. It's really fun to walk around on it. Thanks for coming along on this great little trip to the Sequoia Park Zoo. There are many, many more animals. I just showed you a few of them, so it's definitely worth checking out all the critters. And I hope you also enjoyed the Skywalk. That was really fun and a must-do. So until next time, thanks for watching.